When I went on stage, I just transformed into someone else. I was like maybe an animal. So I remember one day someone told me, you want to go for an opera concert? And I was like, yes, let's go. I don't know what opera is. We are not the quintessential Bombay Parsis, in the sense like Bombay Parsis are known to go for Western classical music concerts and, very cultured. And of course we were cultured, and my grandfather did play the piano and there was music in the home, but it was not like, let's go for classical concerts. My father was a priest, my grandfather was a priest, and so when I was in my 6th standard, my brother and I, there was no option. They were like, yeah, you have to also become a priest. And actually my initiation was done in Navsari. Don't stop believing. That one. Yeah. Of course there were a lot of ups and downs also. I wouldn't say I was bullied, but I was a little bit of an outcast because I was on the creative side. I was told I sound like a raddiwala. I was told I sound like a bhikari. Like really mean things. I mean, a lot of Indians say, hey, opera is a dying art form. And I was like, no. Not at all. The problem with India, the problem with Mumbai is that they are not supporting the local artists, unfortunately. I think it's so important that a podcast like yours also shows this aspect of Germany, that that we Indians are coming here and are successful in not just IT and engineering and the usual things what we are known for, but also in the arts and in the creative side. And I feel that your podcast, along with Hardik, for example, and now myself, are also highlighting this aspect. And I think that's so important for people, for other Indians, for the young Indians to know that Germany, this land, offers much more than what we know. Du meine Seele, du mein Herz, du meine Warme, du mein Schmerz. Really like loud, full, operatic volume. I sang some German lied by Schumann. When I came here to Stuttgart and I started in 2017, firstly I described those years as a kid in a candy shop. Dil mera churaya kyun jab ye dil todna hi tha. What is discipline? Discipline is staying consistent at what you're doing, and of course in the good habits, being consistent. I'm not a natural gifted voice. It's really taken years and years and years of hard work. And for me, opera is like a combination of 3 of my favorite things: languages, singing, and acting. Actually, singing first, languages second, and then acting in that order. At the end of my studies, I decided that I want to go and study music. I want to be an opera singer. Something in me just told me that this is what I am meant to do. When I'm up there, I kind of feel at home. Of course, I'm nervous, but I kind of feel, this is where I'm meant to be.
Hello and welcome to our podcast, Vichaar Vibes. Like always, we are bringing you a brand new inspiring story from a very amazing person, Frazan Adil Kotwal. Frazan is an opera singer. He is the first Indian baritone to redefine opera, recital mastery, and social impact, blending unmatched artistry, global acclaim, and a mission to make music accessible to all. Stands as a trailblazing opera singer, concert performer, and dedicated advocate for the arts, all along with being a Zoroastrian priest.
Hi Frazan, how are you?
Hi Rashmita, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. Thank you for doing this podcast with us.
Thank you for asking me. I'm really honored to be here and to be featured among some other cool guests. It's really a cool podcast that you guys are doing, and I'm super happy to be here.
Thank you. We are very excited about this conversation. So let's dive into it.
Let's do it.
So tell me what Frazan means.
Well, I'm Parsi, as you know, And so Frazan, the way my mother explained it, is a combination of two Persian words. Fra, which is Fravashi, which is angel or guardian angel, and Zan, which means world or paradise. So like paradise of angels is, or angel paradise is the meaning of my name. Yeah.
Wonderful. So now that you talked about your mother, let's dive into your childhood. Tell us a little about your childhood as a Parsi, where you come from, and yeah, we're very curious to know about your childhood in India.
Absolutely. So I was born in Bombay and I was then raised in Pune. And after that, I moved back to Mumbai to study for my bachelor's, which I will get to that. But my childhood was actually really nice. I was very happy. My parents, they moved from Mumbai to Pune because they wanted my brother and I to have like big spaces to cycle, to play. Like in Mumbai, we didn't have playgrounds where we were staying, so they wanted us to be with nature. And I had an incredible school also in Pune that always encouraged me to follow my creative side. So my school was known, it was called Dastur School, and I'm so thankful to that school because from kindergarten, from first standard onwards, first grade onwards, they realized that I'm creative, that I'm someone else when I'm on stage, and every year they put me on stage. They gave me solos, they gave me the lead actors. They just knew that this shy boy, which I was, I was the kind of introverted child who would be in the corner of the class, read a book, not talk too much, just be with maybe one or two people, not the popular kid. But when I went on stage, I just transformed into someone else. I was like maybe an animal, all of a sudden I would be this absolutely confident person striding along on stage, singing, dancing, debating, acting. I was just everything, storytelling, I don't know, there was something about standing in front of an audience ever since I was a young kid that always fascinated me. So my school was one of the few schools that allowed me to tap into that creativity. They really allowed me to explore every form of performing arts, and I just realized from a very, very young age, I love singing. I love music. I love singing. I love music. That was just something like which always pulled me, even in school. You don't realize, but in Indian schools, we don't have so much music. Now it's a different story. But back then, we had maybe one class, and I used to look forward to that class all week, and I still remember the teachers, and the teachers remember me now because now I'm a professional musician. So I hope and I know that they're proud of me that I'm actually pursuing this. But it's really my school that planted that seed in my head, or in my mind, in my soul, everywhere. And growing up in a Parsi household was also amazing because, we are not the quintessential Bombay Parsis, in the sense like Bombay Parsis are known to go for Western classical music concerts and, very cultured. And of course we were cultured, and my grandfather did play the piano and there was music in the home, but it was not like, let's go for classical concerts. It was only when my mother kind of realized at around 5th, 6th standard that, okay, I like listening to classical music, is when she started taking me to some classical music concerts, which are like maybe once every 6 months or something like that. So it was a childhood filled with a lot of fun memories. Of course, there were a lot of ups and downs also. I wouldn't say I was bullied, but I was a little bit of an outcast where, because I was on the creative side and I did sports, but I was not into sports. I did sports because I had to do it. And I think that really culminated into my love for the performing arts, into my love for being on stage, and giving me that innate sense of confidence that when I'm up there, I kind of feel at home. Of course, I'm nervous, but I kind of feel, this is where I'm meant to be. Even as a child, and even now when I go for a concert and I sit in the public, I get restless, that's the reason I don't go for so many operas, or I've reduced. Because I'm like, I should be on that stage. I should be singing, entertaining the public. I don't want to sit in the public. I have this, and sometimes, if it's like a free ticket or something, I just get up during the interval and I walk off, and I'm like, I have to go home, I have to practice, I have to work on my things because I see myself over there. Recently, they had like a huge anniversary or something like that, and they put my face on the big screen, saying that, alumnus is an opera singer in Germany, and they made a small skit out of it, and I was here watching, I had tears in my eyes. I felt so happy to be part of like a history, where they're so proud and they're telling the students that listen, there are students of ours who are pursuing a profession in the creative arts and music. And I think that's such a strong signal even today to just say that, listen, it's possible, you can do it. Our alumnus has done it, and I love that about my school. Yeah.
Yeah, so schooling, childhood is very important, I feel. And the time that we spend, the way we spend in our childhood sort of charts our way towards later life. That's why I asked you that question. And then the obvious question, Frazan, how did your love for opera find place in your zehen or your being?
So it really started when I was 18 years old and I moved to Mumbai to study at Jaihind College. I got accepted to study Bachelor's of Mass Media, BMM. And when I went to Mumbai, I decided that this shy introvert kid I was, I used to feel very scared to go and talk to people. And I was like, but I'm pursuing journalism, I'm in a new city, I have to get out of my shell. So I decided to say yes to everything. So like, if I'm invited for a party, say yes. If I'm invited for a dinner, say yes. Just go get out of my shell. If I'm invited for a rock concert, which I would never go, or a festival, like that time there was these music festivals, NH7 and all, I would never say yes. I would always be so hesitant, be so shy, to make new friends, to go up to strangers and talk to them. As a journalist, you have to interview people. So I decided, Frazan, just be strong. So I remember one day someone told me, you want to go for an opera concert? And I was like, yes, let's go. I don't know what opera is, but let's go. And I went and I saw this person singing and I was just like stumped. I was like, wow, what is that? I even remember, even now it's been more than 10 years, more than a decade, I still remember what exactly that person sang. And then I remember even Googling that time, what is opera? And I didn't know anything and I had no idea about these composers or what. And at the same time, I happened to get violin lessons for the first time from one of India's most prominent female figures in Western classical music. Her name is Ginny Dinshaw. And I saw that I was just getting into this whole, I was playing violin, I was playing viola, I was starting to sing, and I was like loving it. I was like, and every day I'm discovering new things. I'm Googling, I'm learning, I'm listening to all these singers. Suddenly operas in my ear. And I was like, wait, something in my stomach told me this is what I'm meant to be, This is during my BMM studies. And I realized that for me, opera is like a combination of three of my favorite things: languages, singing, and acting. Actually, singing first, languages second, and then acting in that order. And I was like, that's so fascinating. And I always wanted to be unique. I always wanted to be different. Nobody was singing opera at that time. And so, I had a little bit help with the training. Some people were coming from abroad every 6 months, giving me a little help. Going back, then I used to have another few lessons with some other people in Mumbai. At that time, they were very supportive. And, then things started rolling for me. I started getting concerts in Mumbai, which was really crazy. I was not even a professionally trained opera singer. I started getting concerts. At the end of my studies, I decided that I want to go and study music. I want to be an opera singer. Something in me just told me that this is what I am meant to do. And I didn't understand it. And the drama which I was talking about is that everyone else in the music circle, which I can openly say, I'm not afraid to say it, everyone else in the music circle in the beginning was supportive, but then later on told me that I was not good enough. I was not ready. I was not singer material. Nobody really encouraged me. The moment they realized that I was starting to get concerts, I was starting to, climb up a little bit. I don't want to use the wrong word, but it was like, no, you're not good enough. You're not a good singer. I was told I sound like a raddiwala. I was told I sound like a bhikari. Really mean things. And I was like 19, 20 at that point of time. And, when I think about it at that point of time, it didn't affect me. I just laughed. I said, okay, whatever. People told me not to use their names in newspapers, because when I would get interviewed, I would say, I would like to thank so many people. They would tell me, no, we don't want to be associated to your standard of singing. You are not good. You don't look like the part of a European singer. Forget going to Europe. Nobody in Europe will even accept you, to study. And they really mean stuff. and you're not good enough, all these things. And I don't know if I ignored it or what. I was like, whatever, it's okay, nahi, I'll go on. So I just very, very innocently, I said, okay, if you don't want to be associated with me, then I will just learn from the internet. And as it is, I barely learned anything. So I cut all contact. I started teaching myself from the internet. People started helping me. And what was really a game changer for me is that I think after I finished my bachelor's in mass media, I had gone for a Euro trip. My parents had gifted, and no, I think 18 or 19, my parents had given me that time. They said, we are giving you 1 lakh rupees as a gift. And with this 1 lakh rupees, you travel Europe. You manage everything. And I was like, that's the best gift to give me or give any child, I feel, is the gift of travel. And in 1 lakh, I remember I traveled 1 month. Everything, like stay, food, flight tickets, train tickets. I was crashing on people's couches. It was but it was the best trip of my life. And because I saw opera, because until then I'd never seen opera properly, a professional opera. I was maybe singing, but never really seen it. In India, it had never come. I saw it in TV or something like that, on the film. But I went there, I met other musicians. Other musicians put me in touch with other musicians. And what was really a game changer for me was that I was invited to a summer music festival in the Alps in Austria called AlpenKammerMusik Festival. And it's like this festival organized by American musicians, and they offered me a scholarship. And I was like, amazing, pretty cool. And I went. And it's actually when I went there and I sang, and the Americans and everyone were telling me that, hey, you're Germans, and there were a lot of mixed, but predominantly Americans. Hey, you're really good. Why aren't you pursuing this? And I was like, what? I'm good? Like, yes, you are actually, you have a talent, you have a voice. And I was like, really? But everybody told me no. I mean, all the music circle, the people who I looked up to, the people who I kind of idolized, they just brushed me off, And I was like, nobody told me that. Everybody told me that I should stay in India, that I should not leave only, that I should continue singing here. And then they were like, try this piece. This piece is more for your voice. Try singing that. And that's where I got introduced to Brahms and Schubert and all these other Mozart and all these other pieces, which suddenly my voice was just fitting, And they really encouraged me, particularly the voice teacher over there. His name is Randall Scarlatta. And I owe so much to him, and he really helped me, and he sat down with me, he devised a plan, he explained me what I need to do, and I was like, let's do this. This is the stamp I need, the stamp of approval. So I suddenly to get these approval from all these people who I don't know, and they're just hearing me for the first time, they hear the potential. I was like, let's do it. So I said, I will now apply only to the best of the best music colleges, because, that's an Indian mentality. If I do something, then I'll do the best only, like that kind. I was like, it's my second bachelor's, why not? Now, because to me, or little did I know that in order to get into a music college, any music college, you need at least 5 to 10 years of music training, which I never even had, which nobody in India has. It's like crazy, now things are changing, but even still, it's really high level. And so I applied to some of the world's top colleges all over the world, including in USA and in Europe. And my parents were like, okay, let's see. And in the beginning, they were like, how will you earn money? They were supportive, but not 100% on board. But then when I got accepted into every college I applied, they were like, okay, that's big, because we know that this college is like the Harvard of music colleges, or this college is the number 1 in the world, in Vienna and all of that. Then they were like, okay, chalo, we'll help you, but we won't finance this bachelor's. So I said, and that's how my journey started, and I remember my first option was Vienna. I got accepted over there, but I did not get my visa. And for around 6 months, I waited to get my visa. And it was really difficult for me, because I remember I had like almost 5 to 6 farewell parties, because we would keep my bags were packed, they were at the door waiting over there. And because kal aayega visa. And I just, up till now, I still don't know what happened with my visa and why, whatever. I don't know if it got rejected or if they just didn't give me. And those 6 months was so depressing for me, because I remember every time I would go out for a concert or something, everybody knew that I got accepted. So they were like, Abhi, tu idhar hi hai? Tu aayi hai? You're still here? And then it became like, did you really get admission? were you faking it? Were you lying? Oh, if you got it, why are you still here? So it became this kind of, the people who were being mean to me had become even meaner,
Even me, yeah, and Indians do that.
Yeah, so yeah, you're stuck here. What happened? Oh, you did get accepted. You were lying to us. And I'm like, oh no, I'm waiting for my visa. I just want to go. And then it was my mom actually who said, Beta, why don't you do one thing? You try Germany. So I was like, no, mom, Germany is so difficult. I don't want to go to Germany. Because I knew the standard of music levels is even more difficult than Vienna. Even though Vienna is the number one, I was like, nah, yeah, Germany, I know they focus a lot on technique. And she's like, go, you need that. You need technique to study. You're not going to just enjoy. So I applied, I got accepted everywhere, and my way led to Stuttgart because I remember coming here with the least expectation of getting in. Like, Stuttgart was my, हम कैसे बोलते हैं plan A, B, C, D, E, F. I think Stuttgart was my plan G. Like really the last plan. I came to Stuttgart only to audition for the experience, just to do it. I was like, चल इसके बहाने तो I at least get to sing. I just thought that. I didn't come to the intention of studying it.
Frazan, that's really interesting to know that the people amongst you who you trust outside your immediate circle start to say negative things about you and bring down your confidence level. And you are at that age where sometimes you listen to it, but I would say you did a very good job by not listening to them. I'd like to know your journey from India to Germany or to Europe. How did you pursue this visa processes and other application processes in terms of getting into a college to learn opera singing?
So firstly, I researched the best music schools in Germany, Musikhochschule, or Hochschule für Musik is what you say. I researched and I wanted to audition for the winter semester coming in. I sometimes ask myself the question, why did I choose these universities? And then I remembered the reason I chose was because I didn't have so much money. You have to pay also when you do an Anmeldungsgebühr, as they say, the application fee. So I remember choosing 3, and those 3 offered auditions for the winter semester. And at that time you had to send your Bewerbung per post. I had to send my application by post, which I found ridiculous. I never sent anything by post, but I still remember for Stuttgart, they wanted me to do it by post. So I prepared everything and I sent it and I paid the application fee, the proof and all of that. And then I was invited for an audition. So in America, it's different. In America, you have to first send a video, and if you pass the video round, then you can send another video or you can go there. Now, in Germany, it is everybody has to be there for the audition. So I sent my application around February, March, April, around that time. And the audition was in June, July. So I came to Germany to audition. Just by the way, I prepared everything on my own. I came here on a tourist visa to audition. I didn't want to say anything about, because I was where to explain them what I'm doing? They will not understand. So I just took a tourist visa and I came here and I auditioned. The process was, an audition is usually divided into 3 or 4 steps. The first step is always a singing audition. Yeah, you have to always sing. It's quite intimidating. You enter a room or a hall, a big hall, and there's a table of 5 to 10 people, depending on how many teachers are there, and they're just sitting very stern. You go.
Germans, come on.
Very looking at you, noticing. So I remember going in. I was wearing something maybe like this, only white, black pants, a little bit chill. And I said, Guten Tag und Namaste. I was full show, stage hai to full show karo. And I remember I had no technique. All the other singers had singing technique. I had no technique because I never studied it. So how will I have any technique? I never did professional sing or proper singing lessons. 1, 2 little bit master classes and all. But I remember that my strength is that I'm a great actor and my languages are good. So I played on those strengths. So throughout the entire audition, I was acting, moving, full, Bollywood drama style, showing as if I am the best singer, And usually at an audition, the first step, you perform 2 pieces. The first piece is your choice. The second piece, the jury chooses. You present the jury with 5 to 6 pieces. They have like a list. For example, one piece in German, one piece in Italian, one piece by Mozart. Some schools want one English piece, some schools want one old piece, and like they have different criterias. So you present the program and then they choose the second piece. And then everybody sings 2 pieces and then you're out. But I know when I auditioned, I start singing the first piece. There was like murmuring. Then the second piece. Then there was again murmuring. Then they wanted to hear a third piece. And I was like, third piece? That is unheard of in Stuttgart. I was like, then they wanted to hear a fourth piece. And I was like, fourth piece? BC, this is just, they are making fun of me. And then I left. So that is the first round. Then they come out and tell you, okay, who all have passed and who goes to the second round for the piano, music theory and listening exam. And then for us Ausländer, there's also a 5th round, which is the German round, the language test. Because my entire study was in German and I had to have a minimum of B2 level. So they said the next round, in this group, only Frazan has gone. And that's when they kind of came and huddled and told me that, listen, don't worry about the rest. Because they knew that I'm self-taught. They knew that I taught myself through the internet. They knew that I don't have any music education. So I went, and the second round is the language round. In my case, the language round happened also together. So they spoke to me. I spoke my tuta futa German that time. They liked it. They thought it was good. So I passed the language test. Then I went to the music theory round. Music theory round is like a paper and you have to write music and you have to do music theory things, and it's really difficult. It's not easy. It's like they are playing a melody and I have to write the melody, and I'm like, yeah. And I still remember like a friend, we were all in the class and it was all in German, but I didn't understand. So I said, excuse me, I put my hand up, can you translate for me? They're like, yes, you have to write down the melody. Then I put my hand up again. I said, but how? And the whole class started laughing, like, that's how zero knowledge I had. So I did the music theory exam, I did the listening exam, which is like they would play, then you have to understand what kind of harmony. It's like really tough questions. And then I did the piano round. And piano round, I was like, I had to fake it. I don't play piano. I don't know how to read sheet music. So what I did, which is, I don't know if I should say this, but I'll say it because it's still a funny story. So usually you're supposed to come prepared with a piece to play. Something from Bach. And Bach, I didn't even know who's Bach. I didn't know also what to play. Anyway, so they were like, you have to play now. So I was like, okay. And I sat there. I was like, can I play a self-composed piece? And they were like, okay, you composed? I was like, yeah, I composed it. I didn't have anything. So then they're like, okay, yeah, play. Wait, what is the name? And then it was like summer, so I look out and I'm like, yeah. And I see like butterflies on her. So I was like, it's called the Butterfly Waltz. Oh, wow. Very nice. Okay. And I just started playing anything random on the piano. I was like, dun, 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 dun. I sold it. And I acted as if it's like mine. And then dun, dun, dun. And they were like, very, very impressive. Very oriental sounds. And I passed my piano exam. So it was like the most hilarious thing that I faked my piano exam. It was crazy. So I am the only student, I think, in the history of the music school. Firstly, I'm the only Indian. I'm still the only Indian that has ever been in the music school. But I'm also the only student that has got full marks, 24 out of 24 in my exam, my singing exam. But I'm also the only student that got 0 in my other exams. So it was like, because I couldn't answer any of the questions. My piano, okay, I passed, but my music theory and here it's seeing, as they say, listening, oral skills, I failed because what do I answer? I was like guessworking everything, and it's not like multiple choice question. You have to really write down things. So when I got accepted, they put a clause. They said that, listen, before you enter on 1st of October, you have to re-give the music theory and the listening exam. But for 1 month in September, we will provide you 2 tutors who will tutor you for this entire month preparing you for this exam. And I thought, free of cost. And I thought that was incredible. And 7 days a week, I came on 1st September. 7 days a week, those tutors tutored me and I passed the exam on 1st, 2nd October. Coming back, just maybe 1 month ago, I had to get my visa for Germany to study now because I came back, it was a tourist visa, and now I need a proper student visa because I got accepted, everything was ready, acceptance letter and all of that. I go to the visa place at Nariman Point and very happy, I go. Everybody knows how it is in India. You have to wait in those kind of cubicles and it takes so much time and you have to give exactly 8,432 rupees and everything. So anal about everything. I went. I had done everything. I did everything properly. I went to my visa and there was this Indian lady and she was like, what is this? So I was like, this is music. Why? What is music? Why are you going to study music? And I was like, what? And she was so flabbergasted. She was just like, I don't understand. What is this? I've never seen this. And I'm like, calm down. I'm a singer. I'm going to study music. But how? But why? You're Indian. And I was starting to get scared. I was like, just be calm, Frazan. I was like, no, listen, I'm a musician. But why are you going to study bachelor's again? You've already done a bachelor's. What is it? I'm calling my boss. I'm going up. And she left. Everybody's like, and a typical, oh God, visa reject. Suddenly, some blonde woman comes down and very stern, and she's like, And then she speaks to me in German directly, huh? She's like, ja, sind Sie ein Musiker? And I was like, nee, noch nicht. I read my book in German. I was like, no, not yet. But I've been accepted to study. And she's like, yeah, but it says here you got 0 in music theory and listening. And I said, yeah, but it also says I got full marks in singing. And then she's like, okay, you want your visa? Sing something for us. And I was like, I was like, okay, is this how you want to play it? And I without like batting an eyelid, I was like, Du meine Seele, du mein Herz, du meine Warme, du mein Schmerz. Really like loud, full operatic volume. I sang some German lied by Schumann. And she was just like, oh God. And like all the employees came running. Like, kya ho raha? And all the applicants came running. What is happening? And I sang the whole song for like 2.5 minutes or something like that. And she was like, beeindruckend, impressive. And she just took the thing and she stamped it. Chappa, within like 4 days, my student visa came. Or whatever it's called, I forgot what it's called. And then I just went to Germany. But it was such a great story, I'll never forget it. I think it was so nice. I'm so happy I had the guts to even do it. Because but that's how I got my visa, and that's how I got accepted to study in one of Germany's best music schools. Yeah,
incredible that but all through this you were confident and you were so driven that it materialized. So you are now in Stuttgart, and this was year what? 2000 and?
I came in 2017, so 7th year. This is my 7th year.
So you are in Stuttgart, and then you are new to school and very motivated, all pumped up. What was your journey during the study? Were there any surprises, disappointments, encouragement? How did your teachers reacted or behaved, or how did your co-students approach you, and what was that whole story?
So a little backstory before I start this is that I have been very active on social media, which I think we will also talk about later on. I've been very active on social media, and when I was in India, I used to write all these big opera singers just randomly, okay, hey, I'm an Indian opera singer, would you help me, would you give me classes, can we connect? And when I used to travel to the US or Europe or something, I used to meet these singers, and I was just, this is the mass media style where they wanted me to, so I was networking, so I already knew a lot of these big singers. Like, for example, if we had to compare to Bollywood, I knew singers who were like Aishwarya Rai kind of level of stardom, so to say. And I knew them, I would talk with them. So when I came here to Stuttgart and I started in 2017, firstly I described those years as a kid in a candy shop, because I was just like, wow. Piano, first time I saw like a big Steinway piano, first time I could touch a real Steinway 9-foot grand piano, that suddenly I had access to over 200 grand pianos. Suddenly I was seeing an organ, suddenly I was seeing violinists, suddenly I was in a crowd that I felt so isolated when I was in India, and suddenly I'm now part of my people, and I was like, my God, they understand my language, they understand my love. I think I was very passionate. I think I still am one of the most passionate people in the music circle. Maybe there are other people. I know of a couple who are more passionate than me, but I was like this kid. I wanted to do everything. I remember my schedule was filled from 8 o'clock in the morning till like 11 o'clock at night. that's how many because you can choose how many classes you take and all. But it was an amazing journey. I had and have the best teacher. Her name is Ulrike Sonntag. I owe everything to her, really. As a musician, she took me, she accepted me in her class. She really, from day one, built my voice from zero. She taught me how to be a professional. She taught me how to be independent. She taught me discipline. She taught me organization, which I'm so grateful. So when I look back the last 6 years, today I can do things independently because she brought me to that level, technically and also mentally, So that was my journey with my teacher. We had a few ups and downs in the beginning, but ye to hota hai, getting to know how we each beat, But I really, truly, truly love her, respect her. And I'm so grateful to her because she has built my voice. So apart from that, so my teachers were incredible. I had some fantastic teachers and they were always fascinated by my journey. A lot of people, for a lot of teachers, they found it very hard to grasp the concept that I never studied music. And I worked my butt off because, there were people who were reading music like it's a language. There were people who were singing. And I was like, I have to catch up, So my main goal for the first 3-4 years was playing catch up to all my other contemporaries. Because I had to, I had to learn the sheet music, FACE. I had to learn those notes. It's like learning alphabets, And these guys are already like writing higher essays and stuff. And I'm starting at the learning the alphabet. So that's so if I was level 0, they are level like 100. So I had to work and improve my piano skills, improve my listening skills, improve music theory, improve rhythm, improve language skills, improve singing on top of that technique, and plus body movement and sword fighting and dancing and musicology and learning about different styles of music. And it was just so much. But I was like a sponge. I was like, my university was like you could choose and make your own plan. And I filled my plan. Like I really juiced out so much from the university, which I love because it was like a cake, you could eat as much as you want. So I remember my first 2-3 years, I was like 8 o'clock my first lesson, 10 o'clock is my last lesson. My full day was chock-a-block. And I loved it. I loved every moment of it. I studied very hard and, until I reached a level where people would not know, they could not know that I never studied music before, Even now I'm at a level where, of course now it's different because I'm a freelancer and all, but, now people would not necessarily say, oh, okay, he had never studied, he studied music, he started only 6-7 years ago, and I don't say it so often, but I will start saying it now actually because it's the truth. I have worked really hard and it could also be an entryway for me, so catching up. And then also what tended to happen, you asked me also how was it with my colleagues and all. I would say it was very different because coming back to that backstory of me knowing some big singers, so I always had the feeling that I was not good enough in comparison to them because for me they were like, wow. And so for a few years, I had this incessant need to prove myself to my German colleagues. So I would always be saying that, oh my God, I know this person, I know that person, but not in a mean way, but in a way that I need to prove myself. And that led to a lot of people loving me and a lot of people not liking me so much also because they were like, ye kaun hai? Abhi to aaya and he's speaking as if he knows this person, that person. And nobody even believed me until I actually showed them pictures or saying, hey, actually I know this person. Because I've networked and all of that, and I'm very active on social media, and I was always very friendly, very going, and they were not used to that kind of friendliness, let's put it that way. So I had some of the best memories at the Hochschule, and all my friends were international or Germans, so I had no Indian, so I had to speak German or English, but mostly German. And there were a lot of people who did not like me because they were but I didn't care for that because I came as a 24-year-old, I didn't come as an 18-year-old. So I was kind of okay, I was like, I don't need everyone to like me. But in the beginning, there was this thing. But then later on, I think after 2-3 years, I was like, actually, I'm really good. I don't need to think that I'm not good. I know what I have to offer. I know what my voice is, where my voice is. I know what I need to improve. I don't need to always try to prove something. Yeah.
Does your Indian background come when you perform, or does it have any part to play in your opera singing?
See, that I can't say what others think. Of course I think so because, firstly, it's a very unique thing because I'm not, maybe if it was somewhere like South America or people can still understand because there are a lot of South American singers and all. But India, I'm usually the first. We are a few singers out there. I'm usually the first Indian singer they've ever met. So it's firstly a very unique thing, anyways. Like, think about it, the world's most populated country, and we still don't have so many singers. And it's changing now. There are a handful of singers in Germany also. There are a handful of singers all over the world who are now doing it. But for many people, it's still a new factor. I don't think I get hired because I'm Indian. I think I get hired because I'm good. Or if I don't get hired, then it's their fault because then they are losing out. But I don't necessarily try to bring an Indianness to my performance. But yes, I do the namaste, when I'm on stage, when I bow. That is something which I have always been doing as a child, and that's something which I bring. Or for example, I don't know, if there's a need for me to bring my Indianness, I will do it. But there's no need, then I will not do it. Let's just put it that. Yeah.
Tell us what goes into an opera performance and how do you prepare yourself, your voice? You said there is acting, so take us through that a little bit.
So it's a huge and complex thing. Let me, I have a PDF. Let me just open that. And this PDF is really cool. I'm not going to take the credit for it. It is from my teacher. And she created this method. And I find it amazing. I think I still go back to it. And I think it just makes it interesting. And it's called the Systematic Work of Singing. And now, for example, I have a role that I need to learn that I'm performing in February. And it's the role of this opera called Don Giovanni, where I'm singing the title role, Don Giovanni. It's the Casanova. And this is the sheet music, the book. Okay. Now, the first thing is, when you're talking about opera, opera is different from lieder or something like that, because even in classical music, there's subsections of music. So opera is where you are on stage with an orchestra, with full makeup, costume, acting. There's a story, there's a goal and everything. And lied is, for example, where it's just piano and you. There's songs in different languages. In German, it's called Lieder. In English, it's called art song. So we are talking about now opera. But the basis is more or less the same for all this kind of music. So the first basis is you need to learn your notes, the rhythm, and the text. This kind of wood chop work, this kind of boring, sitting at the piano, learning, pressing the note, playing the music, learning what the composer has written for you. After that, you move to the voice. You have to now, with every note and rhythm and text, you have to let it sit in the voice. You have to work it into the voice. You have to practice it. You have to apply the technique to it. You have to see, for example, is it sitting? Is the opening okay? Is the support okay? Is the mixture of the chest and the head voice okay? Are you free? Is there flexibility? How is the quality of the sound? What color of the sound do you want to use? How is the vibrato of the sound? How much is it vibrating? Is the breath okay? Are you being able to sing in one breath? How much breath you need? The economy of it, how much breath you should use? The intonation, are you flat? Are you sharp? Correcting or listening to that? The quality of the speech the quality of the pronunciation while I'm singing. Is it more vowels? Is it more declamatory? Is it more, is it more crisp? Is it more legato? Is it more smooth, that way? How much can I hold? How much can I stay consistent? The conditioning. That is the second step, the voice. So getting the sheet and the voice, getting the music into the voice, like for us as singers. The third is the musicality, the dynamics of the music. How soft do I need to go? How loud do I need to go? Where can I do a crescendo? Crescendo is where you go from soft to loud, like that. Where can I do a diminuendo, which is from loud to soft? The accents, which words do I accent? Then comes the other parts of how smooth do I want to sing it? Is it staccato where I sing ta ta pa pa like that, or is it legato where I go and sing like that? The rhythm of the piece when I'm singing, how is it properly with the rhythm? The character of the piece, like what kind of, am I sad in this piece? Am I loud? Am I angry? Am I happy? Am I jealous? Then there is the phrase, the phrases. How do I want to color the phrases? Then there is the style, for example, this is in the style of Mozart. I cannot sing it like how I'm singing, I don't know, Wagner or Schubert, or, they have different styles of singing. There's a different epoch, a different time. He comes from the classical style. I can't sing it like I'm singing new music. I can't sing it like I'm singing old music. There's a particular style in which you sing Mozart, a particular way you do a trill. Then there is the arch of the character. Where does he start? Where does he end? Then you come to the fourth part, of learning, and that is emotions. That's more or less the last part, so the emotions is like, okay, what am I feeling over here? What is my process as the character? What is my Einstellung? What is my position? What is my mindset right now? Then the context, the W questions, the why, how, where, who, answering these questions. Who am I talking to? Who am I singing to? Why am I singing this phrase? Why is there a repeat of the phrase? Then is it a poetic or dramatic? Like, is it taken from a historical context? Like, so many of these pieces are taken from mythologies, but so many of these pieces are written by the composers themselves or a separate person. What kind of music? Is it an opera? Is it an oratorio? Is it a lead? The development of the character during the entire piece, the posture, the face, my gestures, my eyes, that also, what am I going to do? And then the fifth aspect is combining all of these things together: the stage, the orchestra, the conductor, looking at him, following what he's doing, my colleagues, what are they doing, taking from them, this interaction, the contact to the conductor, the contact to the pianist, contact to the conductor. How am I gonna stay in tempo when there are 50 musicians below, and do all of that? Plus memorizing all of these things, plus making sure that my voice is perfect, plus all the acting, plus the language, plus the contact with the public, because I'm not just singing for myself, I'm singing also to the public, plus how much charisma you have on stage. That's something which I don't know if you can work on. I don't think you can work on charisma, but you're this natural charisma on stage, plus what the director says. It's complicated stuff. The director is going to tell me to, okay, now go there, jump there, then catch her, then kiss her, then run away, then do a dance, so it's all these things combined, and that's how you create all.
So throughout the conversation, I realized that you're very, very passionate. I think that passionate word is also small in front of you, Frazan. How do you stay consistent in all of it?
The word consistent is actually a very, very important word. What is discipline? Discipline is staying consistent at what you're doing. And of course, in the good habits, being consistent. I honestly feel, now that this is going to sound a little bit, I feel like God has given me a gift, my voice. And it is my kind of duty, responsibility to share that. And that is also one of the reasons why I don't just sing operas and classical concerts and all of that. I also do a lot of social work. I try to do a lot of social work even during my studies, giving back wherever I am, whether that's India. I've been giving back to India, like I've taken my teacher, taken her and done master classes, helped students over there. I help any Indian that needs help for music. I'm always there. I will go above and beyond to help someone study music. In Germany here, I have performed for children in hospices, performed for children who are dying, performed for children who are hearing impaired, performed for people who are homeless homes during Corona. I sang outside hospitals for the COVID patients. That is my gift, so it is not just standing on stage and singing Don Giovanni, and of course it's amazing to get these opportunities, but it's also the voice. It's also not just classical music, it's just music, for me. So I feel I'm blessed with this gift. I have worked hard to train it. I have not been blessed with a natural amazing voice, like there are some singers who are like, whoa, whatever. I've worked hard at my voice. I really have worked hard. I'm not a natural gifted voice. It's really taken years and years and years of hard work and all. So I think thinking about that kind of responsibility which I have, which I want to share with the world, motivates me to practice and be consistent. That being said, I just love it. At the end of the day, it's part of who I am. And the reason why I love it is because it's never the same. Every day it's different. Every day I'm learning. And after that, there's never going to be an end, because you're always like a student. You're always learning new things, new languages, new pieces, new styles of singing, new places to sing, new colleagues to sing with. And it's an amazing process, staying consistent. I like sitting at the piano and playing. And of course, it's boring sometimes to do some of these things. And I feel like as a freelancer, you have to do all the other things like sending emails and audition videos and taxes and all of that. It's like a little bit of the boring part, but the singing part like completely balances it. And I really enjoy it. It's a process that I enjoy.
So where do you see the opera going in future? There is always a movement in art, be it painting, be it singing, be it architecture. There are always these movements. Where do you see the modern opera is going towards, and what is the scope of opera in India?
Okay, so there are two different questions. So I feel that operas, I think it's a very Indian concept that a lot of Indians say hey, operas are dying art form. And I was like, no, not at all. If you go to the opera houses here in Germany, you will find so many people. They're always, if it's like a big opera house or if it's like a big opera show, it's sold out. Whenever I go to see an opera, I see so many youngsters. Whenever you go for an audition, there are at least 100 to 300 to thousands of singers waiting to sing, young singers waiting to sing that one role. So I don't think it's going anywhere. If anything, I think it's just booming up and up. Because you have to see, opera is such an ancient art form, but it has stayed consistent throughout the years, throughout the ages. A lot of painting styles and formats have gone and come and gone, and actually completely gone. Now there's a new set. But opera and ballet is one of the few art forms that have stayed consistent in the sense of in its core throughout. In terms of the music, staging and all has changed, but still technology is advanced. But I don't think it's going anywhere. It's far from a dying art form. Coming back to your question regarding how is the opera scene in India, I hope it's changing a lot. Actually, currently as we speak, there is a one of the top opera competitions in the world called Operalia happening in Mumbai currently. For the first time ever, yeah. So it's happening in Mumbai, and it's like the Olympics of the opera world. And like singers from all over the world, the best of the best singers, young singers from all over the world come and they compete. And today, Saturday, is the finals. So it's happening at the NCPA in Mumbai, and I think that is going to be a big change also. I feel personally, coming back, that I hope that this brings change. I have a lot of controversial opinions, so I have to be careful with what I say. I feel they could have done more with it. For example, that they're bringing all these big singers, they could have held master classes for the locals and all. The problem with India, the problem with Mumbai is that they are not supporting the local artists, unfortunately. Not supporting enough, let's put it this way. Everywhere I go in Germany, they are always, or even in America, anywhere, they're supporting the people from their land.
We spoke a lot about opera and your journey as an opera singer from the start to now. Frazan, I have recently found out from our conversation that you are also a Parsi priest. So I have had a couple of Parsi friends, but that's it. I don't know much about Parsi community apart from the ones that I studied in my history books, because I am from Gujarat. So I know, of course. And a little bit of my mother told me, because she is from Navsari. So again, Parsi community is very predominant.
Just like my father. My father is also from Navsari.
Yes. So tell us a little about being priest. What do you have to do? Do you practice being priest here in Germany?
So, no, I'm not a practicing priest. But basically, what happens is you firstly have to be born into a priestly family. So even in the Parsis, there are the priestly families and there are the non-priestly families. And you have to be born into a priestly family, and it's only men who can be initiated into being a priest. In Iran, it's different. In Iran, a woman can also become a priest, but in India, it's only men. Don't ask me why. I don't want to get into it, and I don't even know the full history why only men. Anyway, so my father was a priest, my grandfather was a priest, and so when I was in my 6th standard, my brother and I, there was no option. They were like, yeah, you have to also become a priest. And actually, my initiation was done in Navsari, and I love Navsari actually, but it was in Navsari, and it is called the Navar and Martab, and we did it, and it was in May, close to 40-45 degrees in Navsari, super hot. And it was a very, very rigorous ordeal, I must say. Just to give you a few examples, we were not allowed to touch anyone. So we could not hug our parents or touch anything. We were not allowed to have water, like take a bath. So no water should touch our body, only water to drink. They be upper se, like that. Pray a lot. But we also had fun. We were young. There were other priests in training in the initiation. So we used to play cricket and run around. And it was a great time. I mean, I had a lot of fun. So once the initiation and the prayers are done, and then we got initiated in Navsari in the big Athasberam in the big fire temple right next to Kolaji's ice cream. And we would eat ice cream. And after that, we would go and eat Kolaji no ice cream. And so I have very good memories. And I used to love reading books. So my mom used to go every day to Mejirana Library. And that's my favorite library in the world in Navsari. And she used to go and she used to get books for me. And I used to read it all day. And then pray, play, read like that. That was our time. That what we used to do. That time we had no TV, we had no mobiles. Nowadays, kids, they have mobiles, they have TVs, they have PS5s, so you can play and pass away time. At that time, we used to play like, lock and key, cricket. No, lock and key, lock and key you have to touch. So we were not allowed to touch. So all non-touch games like cricket and all, lock and key, no. But we used to play like that. Or like catch and go, but like touch from far and that kind of stuff. But that being said, we became priests, my brother and I. We suddenly got a lot of respect. And because my grandfather was a practicing priest, he was the head of a fire temple in Pune. Every year before our New Year, the last 10 days are like the prayers of the dead. They're called Muqtad. And so like, for example, I used to go and pray there from my 6th standard onwards, 6th, 7th standard onwards. So like for around good 15, 20 years, every year I used to go back. And even until I came to Germany, I used to actually go back, pray in August, celebrate New Year's, Navroz is what we call them, and come back again. And it just basically means that we are allowed to go into the inner sanctum and tend to the fire, take care of the fire. We are allowed to do the Naujot ceremony, that is the sleeve and the thread ceremony that we wear, marriage ceremony, death ceremonies, not ceremony, but the death, last rites prayers and all of that. We are allowed to do all of that. We are allowed to do the prayers at home, the Jashan as we call it. And that's it for me. Of course, there are other practicing priests who are full-time mobids, who are full-time dasturs, who actually live in the fire temple because the fire needs constant attention, it's constant prayers. And that's how I became a priest, and that's my journey as a priest.
So wonderful conversation is happening, Frazan, with you, and there is not an end because I have so many questions to ask you and all, but we have to end this conversation and go to our next segment, which is called Rapid Vichaar, where I will ask you a couple of questions and you have to quickly answer them. So here I go. If you could perform in any opera house in the world, where would it be and why?
Can I choose two? So the first one is the Vienna State Opera House. I think that is just fabulous because it has so much history and I really want to be the first Indian soloist to perform over there. And the second is the Metropolitan Opera House in New York because that is the biggest opera house in the world. And these two opera houses are like kind of, like once you perform there, you kind of like made it. So those two opera houses,
All the best for that. What's the funniest or most unexpected thing that's ever happened during one of your performances?
Okay, so I shouldn't say this, but a lot of funny things have happened, but one memory that comes to my mind is that we were performing in a concert and the girl and I, the soprano and I, we were singing a duet and it was a song called Volare, which everybody knows. Volare, oh, cantare, oh. And we were singing it in Italian and suddenly the girl forgot her lyrics. And instead of singing the lyrics, she just started throwing random Italian words like mozzarella, fettuccine, spaghetti, pasta, la mamma mia. And she starts, and I'm like, what is happening? And then because of that, I got thrown off with my words and I was like, ragazzi, Milano, Roma, Sorrento, Limoncello. And I was like singing like, and we sang the whole song like that. And we just, volare. And we just went on. It was just... And I remember laughing because I was like, don't laugh because there's a public there. And it was, that was really hilarious. I thought it was amazing that she pulled it off. I was like laughing and saying these words and because I got confused. I was like, and so that was just one of the funniest, but there are lots of funny things that happened. But that was...
My cheeks are hurting. Okay. If you weren't an opera singer, what do you think you would be doing?
I think I would have probably been a journalist because I studied journalism, or maybe I would have definitely done something in music. Like now that I know what I can do, like I think I would have become an agent for opera singers. But that's because I am an opera singer to know that there's such a job also. but I think I could have. I'm good at marketing and talking about myself and people and helping people and getting jobs and all. I think I could be great. I can be a great agent to opera singers.
What's your go-to karaoke song when you are not singing opera?
I have two. One is Angel by Lionel Richie, and second one is Don't Stop Believing from The Journey. Don't stop believing. That one. Yeah. I try. I only do Hindi karaoke when I'm with my Indian friends, and then it goes. And then if it's Hindi, then it's always that Dil Mera Churaya Kyun. Jab ye dil todna hi tha. Why do you? Because then I can sing a little bit opera also.
Okay, you're such a soulful voice. Wow.
Thank you.
Okay, is there a hidden talent you have that not many people know about?
I think not many people know that I can play kind of any pop song on the piano. It's like a hidden talent that I have, that but I have to have the thing in front of me. But many people don't expect that I can just go to a piano and then play a pop song if I have the lead sheet in front of me. But that's a very normal thing for the musicians. They're like, okay, we can. No, but even the singers, they get a little surprised that all of a sudden I'm playing pop music quite well, which is they don't expect it. Another hidden talent, I mean, I need to work on it a little bit more, is that I kind of know all the capitals of the world, but I just need to refresh. But that's kind of a slight game brain challenge that my pianist and I, we kind of keep each other on our toes and we ask each other, what is the capital of this country, that, and Madagascar, whatever, and then we answer to see who wins. He wins most of the time, but I get pretty close. Yeah.
If you had to describe your life in Germany with one German word, what would it be?
Abenteuerlich, adventurous.
Yeah, that you are. Which role has been your favorite to perform and why up until now?
So this is a very common question singers get, and the most common standard stereotypical answer is, oh, the role I am currently singing is my favorite role. Everybody says that. Like it's the most funny thing. It's kind of true because you are so invested right now. Like I'm so invested in this character, this Casanova. He slept with 1,000 women and above, and he is this charming guy, and he's ruthless, and it's so incredible. He's mean, and it's all these crazy things. And I wouldn't say it's my favorite role to sing yet because I'm still working on it. But I think one of my favorite roles I have sung is the role of Papageno in The Magic Flute. And I've not done that completely on stage. I've done that for my exam and everything. It's just fun music. It's nice. He's a lovable character. Everybody knows the music. It comes to everyone. It's simple to sing along. Kids love it. So I think Papageno from the Zauberflöte, from The Magic Flute.
So we are done with our rapid Vichaar round. So our last segment, which we call Vichaar Chits. So this round is called Vichaar Chits, where we have prepared some set of questions which we ask to our guests. Since we are doing this online, you can choose probably the color.
I take the orange one. The orange. Orange and orange shit, yeah.
This one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Open it.
Ooh.
What advice would you give to young musicians or singers from India who want to pursue a career in opera or Western classical music outside India?
Okay, it's a very good question and a very important one also. The first question is, firstly, you need to know if you can, if this profession is for you, because this profession is a very lonely profession, firstly. There are a couple of aspects which are super important to know. Firstly, my advice to a young musician would be, or to someone wanting to pursue this field is, firstly, do you really want to? Like, try and make yourself knowledgeable and understand what you're getting yourself into. Because this profession is very, very, very tough. It's one of the toughest professions there is out there, actually. Statistically speaking, it's a very lonely profession. It's a very financially draining profession also. So that's the first thing. Firstly, if you are ready at the level to do it. Another thing is that you should have also financial security, in the sense, I was really lucky to have a lot of scholarships that allowed me, but I worked hard for those scholarships. So I was really lucky to get scholarships to pursue it. And even after the scholarships, I'm now in a financial situation which I can afford to pay for classes, pay for lessons, pay for coachings, pay for auditions, because you have to do all of that on your own. And the third thing, which I think is really the most important thing, is that this relentless or this unending burning passion. Because if you feel in your stomach, say, mere se kuch hota hi nahi, I cannot do anything else but singing. Like this is or music or violin or piano. I can't imagine doing anything else. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. Only then and then go for it. If you can do something else, do it. But if you feel that you cannot do anything else apart from music, like this is what you're meant to do, only then and then get into this field, because it's draining, it's mentally, it kills you, and you have to be so strong, and if you're not, you could just break. And yeah, it's then not a good sign, or it's not a good thing to just break. You have to be really tough. Those are my 3 advices I would give. 3 hard reality advices that I would give to anyone young wanting to pursue this profession. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Frazan, for answering all our questions and doing this interview with us. We are very happy that we could get you as a guest. We wish you all the best, Frazan. You are already on the path of inspiring the generation, creating a lot of change, creating amazing theatricals and opera. So from our podcast, we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Thank you for giving me the time to share my journey. I think it's so important that a podcast like yours also shows this aspect of Germany, that that we Indians are coming here and are successful in not just IT and engineering and the usual things what we are known for, but also in the arts and in the creative side. And I feel that your podcast, along with Hardik, for example, and now myself, are also highlighting this aspect. And I think that's so important for people, for other Indians, for the young Indians to know that Germany, this land, offers much more than what we know.
कैसा लगा एपिसोड? आई एम श्योर आपको बहुत मजा आया होगा ये एपिसोड देख के, क्योंकि मुझे फ्रजान के साथ बात करते करते बहुत मजा आया, बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला और बहुत कुछ जानने को मिला. So ending this episode with a request that you share, subscribe and follow our YouTube channel. Show your love. Till next time. Take care. Bye.
Like, share and subscribe to our channel, Vichaar Vibes.